The package arrived on the third day. Catherine signed for it with trembling hands while the ranch hand, a boy really, couldn't be more than 19, smirked like he knew exactly what was inside. Heat crawled up her neck as she carried the heavy parcel into the kitchen, the brown paper crackling under her grip. She shouldn't open it. Marcus would be back by sundown. She cut the twine anyway. Nestled in straw lay a contraption of leather and metal that made her breath catch. Straps. Buckles. Metal rings positioned at angles she couldn't decipher. The leather was supple, expensive, tooled with careful precision. This wasn't barn equipment. This was something made with intention. Her mind raced through possibilities, each more mortifying than the last. 3 days. She'd been Mrs. Marcus Brennan for exactly 3 days, and she still slept alone in the guest room across the hall from a husband who was essentially a stranger. A devastatingly handsome stranger who watched her with creekwater eyes and kept a careful, maddening distance. The door banged open. Marcus filled the doorframe, hat in hand, dirt streaking his collar. His gaze landed on the table, and something flickered across his face: surprise, then anger. "I told Dutch to put that in the barn. He brought it to the house." Catherine lifted her chin. "What is it?" Marcus crossed the room in 3 strides and began gathering the pieces, his movements sharp. "Ranch equipment." "What kind?" "The kind that's none of your concern." The dismissal stung. Catherine had spent 26 years being told what was and wasn't her concern by boarding house matrons, by creditors, by every person who'd looked at an orphaned woman and seen only a burden. "I'm your wife. By contract." The words came out harder than he seemed to intend. He stopped, jaw working. "I apologize. That was uncalled for." Catherine moved closer, studying him rather than the leather. "If you're keeping secrets 3 days into our marriage, I'd prefer to know what kind of secrets they are." For a long moment, he didn't speak. Then, slowly, he set the harness back on the table. "It's for training horses," he said quietly. "Breaking them, specifically. But not the way most men do it." "Show me." His eyebrows rose. "Catherine. Show me how it works, or I'll assume the worst and sleep with my door locked tonight." Something that might have been amusement crossed his face. He picked up the harness, turning it in his capable hands. Most ranchers break a horse's spirit to make it compliant. Rope them hard, work them until they're too exhausted to fight. "I don't believe that's necessary." He traced the main strap. "This distributes pressure evenly. No pain, just guidance. The horse learns to respond to subtle cues instead of fear." He paused. "People think it's foolish. Too much time and effort for livestock." "People are idiots," Catherine said. Marcus looked startled, then laughed a real laugh that transformed his face. "There's a mare in the north pasture. Wild caught. Beautiful, but too skittish for anyone to approach. I've been trying to earn her trust for months. May I see?" The question hung between them. Marcus studied her with new interest, as if seeing past the desperate mail-order bride to the woman beneath. "Tomorrow," he said. "If you can ride." "I can ride. Then we'll go at first light." The wild mare was a paint horse, brown and white, with eyes that held both intelligence and terror. She stood in a meadow ringed by aspens turning gold, and when she saw them approach, every muscle in her body tensed for flight. Catherine had never seen anything so beautiful. Marcus dismounted slowly, gathering the harness. "Stay back. Let her get used to you." What followed was the most remarkable thing Catherine had ever witnessed. Marcus approached with infinite patience, speaking in a low voice that barely carried. The mare stamped and snorted but didn't bolt. He would advance a few steps, wait, let her curiosity overcome her fear, then advance again. It took over an hour. By the time Marcus was close enough to touch, Catherine's legs had cramped from standing still, but she couldn't look away. When he stroked the mare's neck, something in Catherine's chest cracked open. This man, her husband, understood gentleness. He valued trust over dominance. He saw beauty in wild things and didn't need to cage them to feel powerful. "Come here," he called softly. Catherine approached the way he had, slowly, respectfully. Up close, the mare was even more magnificent. "Put your hand here." Marcus guided her palm to the mare's shoulder, and warmth flooded through Catherine from the animal, yes, but also from where Marcus's hand covered hers. The mare's heartbeat slowed under her touch. The animal leaned in slightly, and Catherine felt tears prick her eyes. "She's accepting you," Marcus said, wonder in his voice. "That usually takes weeks." Their eyes met over the mare's back. "What will you name her?" Catherine asked. "I hadn't thought about it." "Hope," Catherine whispered. "Her name is Hope." Marcus went very still. When he spoke, his voice was rough. "Catherine, I need to tell you something." Her pulse quickened. "When I placed that advertisement, I wasn't looking for companionship. I was looking for someone to manage the household so I could focus on the ranch." He paused. "But I was wrong." His hand tightened over hers where it rested on Hope's warm neck. "These past 3 days, watching you adapt to this life, the way you looked at that harness with curiosity instead of judgment." He stopped, seeming to gather courage. "I want more than an arrangement. If you're willing." Catherine thought about the isolation of her previous life. The boarding house room where she'd waited for something, anything, to change. She thought about this wild land, this patient man, and the gentle way he was offering her a choice. "Yes," she said. "I'm willing to try." The smile that broke across Marcus's face made him look years younger. He moved around the mare, closing the distance between them, and when he kissed her, it was nothing like the careful peck from their wedding day. It was real. Searching. Full of promise. "We'll take it slow," he murmured against her lips. "Like training Hope. No rushing, no force, just learning each other." Catherine's laugh was shaky. "That might be the strangest romantic promise I've ever heard." "Good." He kissed her again. "I've never been much for conventional romance." As they rode back to the ranch, Hope following on a lead line, Catherine felt something precious taking root in her chest. This strange new life, this marriage to a man who trained horses with patience rather than pain, this wild Montana territory. It was hers now. Truly hers. And for the first time since leaving Philadelphia, Catherine Reed Brennan allowed herself to believe she might actually be happy. 6 months later. Catherine woke to Marcus's hand on her swollen belly, feeling their child move beneath his palm. "Strong kick," he murmured, sleep rough and tender. "Your son," she said. "Already stubborn." They gentled each other through the winter slowly, carefully, building trust the way Marcus had built it with Hope. There had been setbacks and misunderstandings, Marcus's grief over his first wife surfacing at unexpected moments, Catherine's fear that she was only a convenience. But they'd worked through it. Together. Now, as golden light spilled through the window and Marcus pressed a kiss to her temple, Catherine thought about that first day. The mysterious package. The harness that had seemed so strange and embarrassing. It had been the key that unlocked everything, not through control, but through patience and trust. "I love you," Marcus whispered against her hair. "I know," Catherine smiled. "You tell me every morning." "I'll tell you every morning for the rest of our lives." Outside, Hope grazed in the meadow, as wild and beautiful as ever, but no longer afraid. Some things, Catherine had learned, couldn't be broken into submission. They could only be gentled. And gentling required love.